Ladies and gentlemen, will you please put your hands together all the way from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for Mr. David Meulemans.
Outside can be a lonely place. Sometimes it's hard to find a friendly face. Welcome to my world, where the nights are always young and the air is heavy with songs yet to be sung. Let your mind go free. Trust in me. So you wanna walk on the other side. So you wanna know what it's really like. Welcome to my world, where we hide from the sun and the air is heavy with promises to come. Put your trust in me. Welcome to my world, where the nights are always young and the air is heavy with promises to come. Let your mind go free. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world, my world, my world. Welcome to my world. Thank you very much. And welcome. We're going to call this, for the rest of the evening, Our World. And I'm pleased that you're here. We're so happy to be at the Pheasantry with this wonderful songbook, music of David Kent. This whole project started a little over a year ago when David and I met at Yale University, the International Cabaret Conference there. And I heard the music he was writing, and I thought, I've got to get my hands on this stuff. So I was very pleased when David said, you can have every song you want. Sing the ones you like, and I'll write some new ones for you, and we put this show together. It's been just a wonderful, wonderful project all along, and here we are in London. The show almost didn't happen. I landed at Heathrow, what day? Tuesday, and I didn't have the right paperwork. And they said, you know, we could send you home just now. And I said, please don't. And they didn't. So clearly, so here we are for that. But the project all along has been just a work of love, just a labor of love and a joy with the team in Florida, bringing the music over here, the show that we had, bringing Colin in and working with David on the side as a consultant. It's just been amazing for me. And my intention is to pass that amazement along to you tonight. Now, the song that I heard at Yale that got this whole thing going is my invitation to you to put down the stress of the day, to put down any expectations you have of yourselves, and please, any expectations of me, that I won't disappoint anyone. No, we're gonna have a great time tonight. This is a chance to relax and settle down and settle into those chairs, enjoy the show. Watching you, watching me, father, lover, brother, friend, or enemy, who do you see? Now the curtain's fallen, here I stand, just as I am, touching you, touching me. The magic of the stage wraps us in mystery, but who do you see? The spotlight dazzles when it hits your eyes. It shines so bright. A fool, a vamp, a hero, or a tramp. You laughed and you cried as I lived those other lives. But I am all of these and none of these and more. Don't turn away, don't turn away. Watching you, watching me. I beg of you to reach within and set me free. But who do you see? A character I played for your delight on stage tonight. Watch my lips, touch my hand, no more lies. Here I stand, finally, just as I am. The process of putting this show together and studying this music, Father, and I am a brother, and I am a lover, and I'm a friend. And sometimes I'm an enemy, I guess. And we all play those roles when we're in the right situation. When I'm the big brother, I act a certain way. When I'm a subordinate at work, I act another way. And when I'm up here and have the microphone in my hand, I get to be yet another way. But a cabaret is an opportunity for us to stop and just be and express ourselves as we are. And one of the things I've learned most clearly in this process is that despite anything people say about me, I'm just not that kind. A lick of her lips and a sideways glance, a flick of the hips invites me to dance. Though I'll take my chance to bump and grind, I'm not that kind. A flashing red light and a winding stare, a whip and a chain and long blonde hair. But that's not the game that I had in mind. I'm just not that kind. But I keep finding love, and love keeps finding me. But all I'm dreaming of, compatibility. A party of three at a table for four, a friend of a friend who walks in the door, and then lightning strikes as those eyes meet mine. I finally know I am that kind. Thank you. Now, you're a small but mighty crowd tonight, and I wanted to let you in on a little secret. We've told everyone that this is standing room only tonight, so we're going to need you to applaud for like 4 people, each of you. Make lots of noise. I'm kidding. I am that kind. I've discovered, even though I had to sing I'm not, that I am that kind. One of the things I am is a hopeless romantic. Love keeps finding me. And sometimes love is good to me. I didn't even know I was in love the first time I was in love. Maybe you didn't. I was 10 years old. I had spent summers in the treehouse, winters sledding, playing games, riding bicycles. And only when the time came to say goodbye and move away did I get that funny feeling in my head and a worse feeling in my stomach that I knew I was either getting sick or ending my first love. I take a step outside into the summer night, and for a moment time seems to stop its flight. And I recall an evening just like this, in a moment almost ending in a kiss. Is this the same moon? Is this the same sky? Am I the same guy you knew? Well, I guess the years have changed us all. There's always something new. But this heart must be the same heart, for even still I miss you. And what if you were here again by my side? Could I break the silence of the night? Would I hold you in my arms like I should? Or once again, would you turn away for good? Is this the same moon? Is this the same sky? Am I the same guy you knew? Well, I guess the years have changed us all. There's always something new. But this heart must be the same heart, for even still I miss you, I miss you. And as I reach out my hand to see you just walk away, and now I know I'd do anything to make you stay. The same moon, the same sky, the same guy you knew. Well, I guess the years have changed us all. There's always something new. But this heart must be the same heart, for even still I miss you. 'Cause it's the same moon, and it's the same sky, and I'm the same guy you knew. Well, though the years will come and go, it's destined to be true that this heart will be the same heart, for even still I'll miss you. Thank you to our first love. I hadn't thought about that situation until I actually worked through the song a few times, and I thought, gee, I know that feeling. And it impressed me the song had such power to bring a memory back to my mind that I hadn't paid attention to for 40 years. An amazing thing, a strong, powerful song like that. The power of a fine painting, like the power of a beautifully written piece of poetry. In fact, a powerful piece of poetry set to a beautiful melody. That's the power I find in this music. It reminds me of the power of babies. Are you aware of the power of babies? A baby enters the room. Most of the people in the room dash over to the baby and start babbling. The guys look around a little bit, make sure it's safe to approach this baby. You never know. Could need a diaper change. But as soon as our heads get down over that baby, the baby switches on their power and it sucks all the intelligence out of our brains and we start babbling. Coo, 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 coo. Boop, 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 boop. And they smile and grin because they know they gotcha. And no baby is more powerful than when it's your own, especially when it's the first one. For me, it was October 23rd, 1983, a day that happened to be my 23rd birthday. We spent the day at the hospital waiting for that baby to show up. And my life changed completely and irreversibly at 10:08 p.m. when I heard those words, "It's a girl." And a extraordinary day. Nothing's different. Nothing's changed. But suddenly, the world seems rearranged. I'm just an ordinary guy, a little dull, a little shy. But suddenly, I feel like I could fly. That smile made everything bright again, extraordinarily right again, to feel those tiny fingers clutching mine, and the sky looking down at you must be extraordinary too. For suddenly he sees himself in you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We've agreed as we've worked on developing the show that that is the perfectly written little song. And in fact, we loved that one so much that we put together a little trio. We've got the music director from Florida, wonderful keyboard artist, and her husband on drums and a stand-up bass played by a guy named Rupert. And we ducked into a recording studio one night during a hurricane and recorded 10 of the songs from the show. I think some of the CDs are out on your table, but we've got about a dozen left that we recorded them just for our little run here in London. So we'd love to have you take these home with you tonight for a very reasonable price of £10. And Extraordinary, that you just heard, is on that CD, and that's the last time I'll plug that, but we appreciate that very much. I also have to mention where we're collecting information for mailing lists. So after the show tonight, everyone who submits your name and email address for a mailing list will be entered into a drawing for a 40-pound voucher for Pizza Express here. So we hope you'll help us out with that and stay in touch with us by getting your names on our emails. And that's all the commercials we have tonight. Singing these songs has become something I do consciously and unconsciously almost 24/7 these days, and for several months now. It's become a bit of a guilty pleasure for me to hold that last note on Extraordinary as long and as quietly as I can, so as not to wake the baby. But I've developed an interest in guilty pleasures. We all have one. Some of us will admit to them and some won't. And what are yours? What are your guilty pleasures? Gourmet chocolates? Designer clothing? Searching for nudies of the royals on the internet? 50 Shades of Grey, the party edition. Whatever it might be, one I'm adding to the list is singing silly songs by David Kent about a woman named Patricia who liked to take her clothes off once in a while. Her name was Patricia, but she called herself Delicia when she came to town in 1924. She got a spot as a singer in a nightclub known as Ginger's, but disaster struck the night she took the floor. Well, the band began to swing and it was her turn to sing, but when she opened her mouth, nothing came out. 'Cause when the music began to play, she felt herself get carried away. She licked her lips, swung her hips, and then everything slipped. Well, it didn't take long. By the end of the song, her clothes were lying on the floor. She knew Delicia was no singer anymore. But as her fame was spreading, came the day that she'd been dreading. Arrested that night in 24. Her friend the judge was distraught that she'd ended up in court. But afterwards he went down on his knee. And at her disposal was a marriage proposal, but she opened her mouth and nothing came out. 'Cause when the music began to play, she felt herself get carried away. She licked her lips, swung her hips, and then everything slipped. Well, it didn't take long. By the end of the song, her clothes were lying on the floor. She knew Delicia was no stripper anymore. But the judge was not a gent, and their marriage not heaven sent. He ran around with a stripper new in town. One night he fell to his knees. Delicia set me free, but when she opened her mouth, 'cause when the music began to play, she felt herself get carried away. She licked her lips, drew from the hip, and the safety catch, it just slipped. Well, it didn't take long. By the end of the song, the judge was lying on the floor. He cried, "Delicia, my Delicia." Now she's a widow, you see, as rich as can be. But the thing the judge never saw was that Patricia's not Delicia anymore. Oh no, Patricia's not Delicia anymore. That's all. We don't know how Delicia met that judge, but I like to imagine that the judge sneaked into a strip club someplace. And they met, and they began an affair, a torrid illicit affair. And then I like to think, that doesn't really happen. I mean, where in the world do you find high-ranking public officials, judges, princes, running around naked with prostitutes around a pool table? Absolutely. It could happen. It could happen. A chance meeting can turn into something that we can't imagine what it might be. But I like to think that chance meetings are not accidents. Everything happens for a reason. Like this guy who jumps on the wrong bus one day. Life's passed by, and he knows all too well what tomorrow brings, what tomorrow brings. No time for dreams, he works too hard. No illusions left, just Monday to Sunday, 7 days a week. And every day is a gray day, 7 days a week. Future and present merge into one. Every day the same, every day the same. No regrets, no hope left either. Don't think about tomorrow. Live for every day, just Monday to Sunday. 7 days a week, and every day is a gray day. 7 days a week. He's running late. He jumps aboard the bus she always takes, and suddenly their eyes meet, and the world ends. And the world ends. Those endless days he'd spent alone, it turns out we're bringing him home. From Monday to Sunday, 7 days a week, and every day is a new day. 7 days a week, from Monday to Sunday. 7 days a week, and every day is a new day. 7 days a week. Thank you. And that was our very own Colin Billing ripping up the keys there. What an amazing artist. A chance meeting is one thing, but when it's an intentional meeting and a man acts on an attraction to his best friend's girl, trouble is guaranteed to ensue. But don't say I didn't tell you. Old friend, you're alone again, counting memories. Love's a game, not all can win, but friendship's guaranteed. I never wanted her to desert you. I never wanted you to cry. I never thought that she would be untrue, that she wouldn't say goodbye. I know I told you from the start that she'd put up a fight, but believe me, I never wanted to be right. All is fair in love, they say. Let grudges pass you by, 'cause friends are always here to stay. On that you can rely. I never wanted her to steal your cash. I never wanted you to lose. I never thought that she would leave you flat and with nothing but the blues. I know I told you from the start she'd keep you up all night, but believe me, I never wanted to be right. Why don't you take it again, sir? Ba-da-dee-da-dee, bam-bam, ba-da-yo-yo-yo. Ba-da-dee-da-dee, bam-bam, ba-da-dee-da-yo. Ba-da-dee-da-dee, ba-bow, ba-da-dee-ba-da-dee-ba-bow. But believe me, I never wanted to be right. I never wanted her to hit on me. I never wanted you to know. Whoever thought that she would be so sweet that I couldn't let her go. I know I told you from the start, you better keep her out of sight. But believe me, believe me, believe me, it feels good to be right. That was a nice lick. They say you write what you know. So I'm kind of wondering, David, you know, what happened there? Best friends, girl, and all. All right. Well, clearly, I must have done something to upset my own personal karma, because my life, after leaving that one we talked about at the beginning, till the time I was about 40, was a jagged series of nasty, awful love affairs. Tragic, in fact. And I can't tell you how many times I sat there wondering, what did I do to deserve this one? A bad ex in your history, this song is for them. Love is a story I've often been told, a wonderful story 10,000 years old. You'll know when you found it, 'cause love shines like gold. Is this my crime? To love you, is this my crime? To need you, is it so wrong to feel so strong? I was so easy to take for a fool, 'cause I believed in the story and its mythical rules. But now I can't break free of a love that's so cruel. Is this my crime? To love you, is this my crime? To need you, is it so wrong to feel so strong? And I dreamed of a river flowing down to the ocean swell, but all I found was a jailer and this prison cell. So that's how you caught me in love's magical spell. And for all that you've taught me, you've taken as well my innocence, learning that love can be hell. Is this my crime? To love you, is this my crime? To need you, is it so wrong to feel so strong? Is this my crime? Thank you. So they don't know we're talking about them, but didn't that feel good? I have to say, though, life has been very, very good to me these past few years. It's been 11 months since I got remarried for the last time. All 5 exes can rot in hell. 2 of them are in prison. That is true. I claim no responsibility for any of that. But 11 months ago, in fact, the day after I opened the show at Don't Tell Mamas in New York City, where we brought As I Am to New York, I got married in Central Park at the Bethesda Fountain, the day after the worst blizzard in 160 years to hit New York City. The musicians couldn't make it, but somehow street musicians showed up, about 16 of them, singing a cappella, Ave Maria, and songs that we loved. And the sun shone around the fountain. And the residents of New York City gathered to see what this event was about. And I knew, standing there at that moment, saying I do to the most wonderful man who's ever come into my life, that I still believe in love. Each day as I walk through this ordinary world, and I move through the crowds, a lonely life unfurls. But passing me by in the blink of an eye, I swear that I saw your face smiling at me. I still believe in love, whatever they say. I know that I'll find you someday, and though the road is long, I'll still be true, for I still believe in you. The night may be long, and my heart may be cold, but in the hours before the dawn, I won't be alone. I close my eyes and I don't fantasize, but I swear that I saw your face waiting for me. I still believe in love, whatever they say. I know that I'll find you someday, and though the road is long, I'll still be true, for I still believe in love, whatever they say. I know that I'll find you someday, and though the road is long, I'll still be true, for I still believe in you. Thank you very much. All you can do is watch them and let them make their own decisions. So I heard their negative words, but I also heard their love. Chicago is my home, in a one-room studio, and the music of the city rumbles down below. I've got many friends, I don't need to sleep alone, and I've got many places in this town I call my own. And Dad, I know you think it's wrong that I live from year to year. I'm not saving for the future, I'm not planning a career. please understand that I don't choose to live like you. And Dad, I miss you. There's a light outside my window, and it's keeping me awake. Sometimes this cold apartment is more than I can take. Sometimes I don't come home for days at a time. Sometimes in a stranger's arms you taste the sweetest wine. And Dad, I wish you'd speak to me, or at least you'd say my name. When you visit from that other place, it always ends the same. And in your eyes I see reflections of my life. And Dad, I need you. I'm sorry that I wasn't always patient, always kind. And I'm sorry that I couldn't say what's really on my mind. I'm sorry that we never got to truly understand. But most of all, I'm sorry you're not here to hold my hand. I open wide my eyes, but the dream is still the same. You're standing in the doorway, and I'm begging you to stay. Is it disappointment that's reflected in your eyes? Or is it something different that makes me want to cry? And Dad, perhaps you're right, and there is nothing more to say. And finally, we can really look and see each other's face. I guess I always knew you felt the same way too, Dad. Chicago is my home in a one-room studio, and the music of the city rumbles down below. Thank you. Now, that song plays so true to my own life. It wasn't Chicago, it was Appleton, Wisconsin. And we actually got a cheer last night because someone was in the audience from Appleton, Wisconsin. It's 2 miles to the southwest of nowhere. But there she was. She sat right where you are. Are you from Appleton? That's the Appleton seat. I guess we'll let it go tonight. My father was one of those generations of people who didn't say what he felt. He said what he thought, but he wouldn't share his feelings. I had to train him to say, I love you. I moved to Florida. It was 1998. And at that time, I would speak with him on the phone, and I would end the conversation and say, I love you. And he'd go, uh-huh. And he would hang up, and I knew he was crying. Very sensitive, but he wouldn't let you know. And a few years later, I would end the conversation, say, love you, Dad. And he'd go, you too. And he'd hang up. I knew he had those feelings, he just didn't show them. So, finally these days, I'll say, I love you, Dad. And he'll say, I love you too. And now he can say how he feels. As a father, I realize I wasn't going to be that way with my own daughter. She's 28 years old, lives in Seattle. We seldom see her, but we love her tremendously. She doesn't come to me for advice so much anymore. But sometimes I just want to go back to those days when she doesn't know. And I can encourage her to live her dream. And I want to sit down on the bed in her bedroom and put my arm around her and pull her really close and sing a song to her. Don't try to hide it, 'cause it's chosen. I'm sorry. It doesn't need explaining, 'cause I know you too well. I know it feels like you're losing this fight, but don't be scared of the darkness, it's the edge of the light. 'Cause note follows note to build a song that only you can sing. So don't be afraid to walk apart. You've just got to follow your heart. They'll try to tell you that you're over the hill, but the voice inside you is calling you still. 'Cause note follows note to build a song that only you can sing. So don't be afraid to walk apart. You've just got to follow your heart. Don't stop to wonder how my harmony goes. The orchestra's playing a tune I don't know. Note follows note to build a song that only you can sing. So don't be afraid to walk apart, and one day your heart will lead you home to me. Thank you very much. This evening, it's really an honor and a privilege for me to call up the man who really made so much happen with this show. Writing all the music, I thought, was a great contribution. So I think you'd like to say hello to David Kent, wouldn't you? Let's hear it. Come on up, sir, will you?
Can I just say a few words?
You've got
well,
the mic.
I would just like to say that it's... Shut up. Shut up. Well, I'd just like to say that it's a wonderful experience for me to be able to hand my work over to two people that I trust implicitly. And I'm sitting there with a huge grin on my face. So my cheek muscles are aching. So thank you so much. Colin, your playing and your arrangements are wonderful. And David, you're not so bad either.
Thank you very much. I'll take that as a compliment.
But what I would like to know is, when are you going to grow up and get a real job?
Never. In all this time, for many years, this dream has been my faithful friend. But what if it won't come true?
And there are times to swim against the tide, to not give in, to stand and fight. And maybe there are times to face the truth. There's
There's a boy that I remember, I promised him that I would never stop believing in that childhood dream. Somehow on this road I follow, I believe, though it's long and narrow, the journey will be worth the price to say I'm still that way.
There comes a time for everyone when childhood things are over and done. And maybe now that's overdue.
There's no shame in saying no, in moving on, in letting go. And maybe it's time I started something new. There's a boy that I remember, young and sweet and warm and tender, setting out upon that winding road. People change as life unfolds, and boys grow up, and nothing holds on. Don't you think that boy deserves a chance
To become a man?
I guess I still believed in heroes.
If only wishing made it true.
I've always known which way the story goes. I believed in you.
I believe in you.
There's a boy that I remember, strong enough to still defend the dream that will define the life I led. Things may change as life unfolds, but I believe that I can hold on. I think it's time the boy should take a stand and become a man.
And become a man.
And become a man. Don't trip the composer. Watch out for the cables, David. Be careful. Wasn't that amazing? That will go on the calendar as the highlight of the show, just so you know. In my heart, it absolutely does. What a real pleasure to share the stage with you and one of your own songs. I just realized that we've been here for an hour. I don't know where the time has gone, but it's slipping by quickly, and I'm more than sad that we're almost at the end of the show, and this is, of course, our last night here in London. I'm so very grateful for the audiences in London, the staff here who have been so great to us, all of you guys. Just this entire opportunity has been just an incredible journey the whole way for me. From a guy who sat down in Fort Lauderdale 2 years ago and said, I wonder if I can sing in New York. I wonder if I'll get to London. And here we are kind of wrapping it up. I'd like you to look around. Really look. I don't see any heads moving. We've shared this hour together with people who were strangers, but we're slightly less than strangers for having spent this time together listening to this wonderful music. The evening will come to an end, and we will all go our own way. But I want to take a great comfort in knowing that this beautiful music will go on and on and on. You come to me with troubled eyes and ask if our love's broken. Music's how my heart replies when words cannot be spoken. So I'll sing to you of the life we've made together, of the love we shared and the storms we've had to weather, though the years have quickly passed that we thought would last forever, the music still goes on and on and on, and they're still playing our song. So if there is a tale to tell, just let your heart be open. Let the music cast its spell when words cannot be spoken, and sing to me of the future and forever, of your hopes and dreams, and the path we'll tread together. Hand in hand we'll journey on, knowing love will keep us strong, while the music still goes on and on and on, and they're still playing our song. We have dreams, but more than this, we've vows that can't be broken, making music with each kiss when words need not be spoken. So sing with me, for tonight the magic binds us, and time stands still, though the fairground spins behind us, though the carnival may pass, it's forever in our hearts, while the music still goes on and on and on, and they're still playing. Yes, they're still playing, and they're still playing our song. You're amazing. Oh, David, you're I won't praise you anymore because I know you don't like it.
Yeah, just get on with the next one.
Well, I think maybe I will. I've learned from working with Mr. Kent that when he says, now what kind of a song would you like? That means he's going to write one, which is the case with this next song. We had a number of conversations about what I was doing as a singer, as a performer, how I came to this place, and discussions about my early life as a musician and this big gap in the center where I wasn't singing. I was drinking and smoking. I was a party guy for a good long time, and it got the best of me. My life came to a crazy, insane, and not very pretty halt one year. And we were talking, one of my first conscious thoughts when things started to change was, I wonder if I can still sing. And, well, here we are, still trying to sing. But that conversation motivated David to write this song for me that reminds me that no time is like the present. And I'll share this song with you so that you take the message also. There's no time like the present. There's no reason to sit on your butt and not do it. So if that provides you any encouragement to go off and live one of those things on your bucket list, thank David Kent. Sitting on a park bench watching the world go by, feeling like you just let your very last chance pass by. What would you give just to get things on track? If only you thought that there could be a way back. This is the time, this is the place. Don't hesitate, just move on down the line, leaving behind that empty space. Tomorrow will be fine. A new world waits for you and me if you just believe that this is the time. So you never thought that you would be the guy to act so rotten. And suddenly you realize that everything has hit rock bottom. But just when you know you can't go on the same, that's when the phoenix rises from the flames. This is the time, this is the place. Don't hesitate, just take your chance to fly, leaving behind that stranger's face. To let the real you shine, the world is waiting breathlessly for you to see that this is the time. Don't waste time looking back and regretting what's gone down, 'cause you can't change the past, but the future starts right now. This is the time, this is the place. Don't hesitate, just take your chance to fly, leaving behind that stranger's face. To let the real you shine, the world is waiting breathlessly for you to see that this is your time. So it's time to say thank yous. Could we put your hands together loud and mighty for Mr. Colin Billing. I close my eyes and I don't fantasize, but I swear that I see your face smiling at me. I still believe in love, whatever they say. I know that I'll find you someday. And though the road is long, I'll still be true. For I still believe in love, whatever they say. I know that I'll find you someday. And though the road is long, I'll still be true, for I still believe in you. I was so glad to hear you wanted one more. we actually are going to repeat one that we heard earlier. First time it was about a baby, but this time it's about today. This has been an absolutely extraordinary day. An extraordinary day. Nothing's different, nothing's changed. But suddenly, the world seems rearranged. I'm just an ordinary guy, a little dull, a little shy. But suddenly, I feel like I could fly. That smile made everything bright again, extraordinarily right again. To feel those tiny fingers clutching mine, and this sky looking down at you must be extraordinary too. For suddenly he sees himself in you. Thank you very much, and good night.